Ladies and gentlemen, you are back with the original members of the Life Gang Avengers of Current Culture. It's me, Lamont Tyson. It's that living legend, Larry, over there wearing his Wakanda sweaty. How you feeling, my brother? I like it when you wear the Wakanda sweaty because it lets me know that you understand who the true and rightful ruler of Wakanda was and still is, T'Challa.
You're right. I do understand who the true and rightful ruler of Wakanda is. Right there.
So you trying to tell me Kill Monday? That's what it looked like. It say Kill Monday is the rightful ruler of Wakanda. Kill Monday.
Who's Killmonger, the true and rightful ruler of Wakanda?
Nobody know who Kill Monday is. Nobody.
You know it says Killmonger.
That thing said Kill Monday. And I'm sure a lot of people wish they could skip this Monday because the Super Bowl is coming. So ladies and gentlemen, let me dive on into what we got going on tonight. We've got a bunch of trailer reviews tonight. One of the advantages you all get when you watch my live show is I'm able to show you the trailers immediately. When I chop up the videos later on, the trailers are not there because I have to remove them before YouTube try to demonetize. Now, I mean, YouTube try to pinch a penny so tight, you see Lincoln get a nosebleed when it comes to us YouTubers. So I cut those. You only get to see them when it's live. And so tonight we've got Coming to America 2 trailer. They did a second trailer. I've heard nothing but good about it. We've got something Will Smith is doing on Netflix called Amend. My black folks fighting for that equality. Will Smith might touch your heart with this one. Then we're going to take a look at the Tiger Woods documentary. I watched it. I was trying to encourage Larry. Did you watch it?
I watched it.
Oh, man. So, woo, it's going to be a good time in the city tonight. And before we jump, we're going to do Tiger Woods first. Talk about a fall from grace. But before we get to Tiger Woods, let me shout out the people in the building. Mike Willie, my brother, I appreciate you. Muchella Shai, my sister. Right on. Moochie. Mike Willie again. Alex Herndon, Support Gaming, Bruce McFadden. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do stocks at the end. I want to show you guys how to place a call because there are a couple of stocks I think you should jump on as a call Monday because I think the market is going to be buzzing a little bit with a few of these. So, Larry, to give them context, let's take a look at a synopsis of the Tiger Woods story. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a story of a man who rises as high as a supernova and comes crashing down like a black hole. And then he kind of makes another comeback. But one of the real atrocities to this thing was the way in which he tried to manipulate the black people when he needed us. So we'll talk about that after we get through with this quick review to give you guys context of Tiger Woods himself.
When Tiger was 10 months old, I unstrapped him out of his high chair one day and he walked over and hit the ball. There it is. I said, oh my God, I've got something special.
I think Earl had the master plan since Tiger started walking. He asked me to ask his dad if he could play some other sports, but Mr. Woods said he had to concentrate on his golf.
I wanted to protect that sweetness of him. It was a quality that I loved about him. I could tell he didn't know what was coming.
Tiger was going to be this bridge between all the different races and tribes of humanity.
How are you handling all the adulation?
I honestly don't feel comfortable with that.
Earl taught him the mental toughness to tackle the game of golf. I'm not sure that Tiger was mentally tough enough to handle the pressures of fame.
He was at the pinnacle of his sport, but in reality, being Tiger Woods had taken its toll. He said to me, I think I'm going to give up golf and I'm going to get in the Navy SEALs.
That adrenaline rush, it becomes like a drug, and you're looking for that next hit.
For the squeakiest celebrity on earth, that spelled trouble.
Here he was in my bed, and he was my Tiger.
Breaking news that will rock the world of sports.
Tiger built himself up to be more than he was.
I have made you question who I am and how I could have done the things I did. Have you taken any medications? Why don't you go ahead and hop out for me real quick?
What has Tiger done to Tiger Woods?
The problem with conquering the world is that the world is going to want its revenge.
He got clean, he got healthy, and he crawls out of that hole. This is the comeback of all comebacks.
Do not underestimate Tiger Woods.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, that documentary is a chilling insight into the life of Tiger Woods from the time he was a child, which this is little baby Tiger. Ain't he so cute? That's little baby Tiger. Oh, little baby Tiger. All the way till he became an adult. And a lot of us know him for being a great golfer. We know about him, and this is not my words. This is what the news media said, his bimbo eruptions. And we also know that that's what they called them, bimbo eruptions, because they was all blue-eyed, blonde-haired bimbos is what they said on the news. And he's tried to make a comeback, but has never been the Tiger that was indestructible, unbeatable. And so to start this story out, my coach asked me, have I seen the whole thing? And at the time I hadn't. He said, Lamont, do you feel sorry for Tiger? And I had only seen the first part. And in that point in time, I really didn't feel sorry for Tiger. But now that I've seen them both, you kind of see Tiger, ladies and gentlemen, without giving you guys everything, he turned into what his dad was. And no one really knew about his dad unless you was in the family. Now, this documentary has all the accounts of people that was close to Tiger, people that was close to the family, and a few of the women that Tiger was messing around with. Even one of these chicks was his high school sweetheart, was this chick right here. That was his first high school sweetheart, who she said was able to bring out personality in Tiger because around his dad, he had to be so robotic. And to make the long family dynamic short with his dad, the dad raised Tiger to be a golfing machine. They even had an episode where Tiger went on the Ed Sullivan show and was putting golf. And the first thing my wife says to me, Larry, is how did his daddy get Tiger up in there? How did they get that hookup? A black dude with a mixed child gets on Ed Sullivan back during the early 70s. How did that happen? Yeah. And so we later learned, ladies and gentlemen, Tiger's dad was teaching golf, but he was teaching golf to the same thing Tiger Woods had a predilection for. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and he had a little Winnebago that he would go in the middle of golf lessons and teach them some other strokes, if you know what I mean. And it's a different stroke for sure, coming from Tiger's daddy in the Winnebago while Tiger's on the golf course practicing. And so Tiger wasn't able to handle all that fandom. He spiraled out of control, started messing with all these women. And one of the major reasons they say that all the women went out of control is because some of you guys know me from Greenville when I was a cab driver. And I've had several athletes get in that back seat and talk to me about infidelity. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Michael Jordan, shouts out to Greenville. They used to have a golf tournament for Michael Jordan there. Charles Barkley, Stephon Marbury. And I used to always ask them, what is it that makes y'all want to, have these side things with your wife? And most of these athletes would tell me the rush helped them get through playing basketball. That rush, I don't know what the rush is. I guess the rush of hiding something from your wife or having a side family, whatever, would get them off, get them ready for sports and athletics. With Tiger Woods, the thing that he did different, that these athletes said they did different, was Tiger Woods was basically falling in love with all these bimbos. That's what the news anchor said, not my words. Whereas these other guys would say it's a wham, bam, money deal, thank you, ma'am, keep it moving. All these chicks, and this was the main one right here. Her name is Rachel Yucatel. This one right here. And she gives a very vivid account. Now, she kind of looks, Larry.
She looks like Caitlyn Jenner.
Exactly. Thank you. You took the words right out of my mouth. And that was his main squeeze. And Tiger's wife busted her because she started texting this woman, and this woman not thinking, okay, Tiger just got out of trouble. Elin went and busted his window, so maybe I need to give him some time to chill out. But she was in love with Tiger, Elin texted her, and that's how the whole thing broke down. And then they go on through how Tiger fell from grace when he went on Oprah and didn't want to identify himself as black. He said, I'm Cablinasian. What the hell is that? It sounds like something you put on your salad. And then when he finally got his butt arrested, that's when he wanted to reach out to Reverend Jesse Jackson, the Black Coalition, get all the black people to help him out because he needed help at that point. So now I give you the question, Larry. It's a great documentary, ladies and gentlemen. You need to check it out. Do you feel sorry for Tiger after seeing all the events unfold in his life?
That's hard. I guess part of me is yes and no. And yes, and on the yes side, because I have seen how. Well, let me start with the no side first, because no side is probably shorter. The no side is because at some point during your life, regardless of how hard you've had it, you have to end up taking responsibility for your own life. At some point, you have to say, okay, this is my life for better or for worse, and I'm going to have to make the changes that I want to see made. And but on the yes side is that oftentimes with all of these great athletes, not all of them, but most of these great athletes that we see, these athletes are not people who just happen to have fantastic athletic abilities and they just sort of fall into their greatness. No, most of them spend their entire lives developing themselves so that they are great. When you look at people like the Williams sisters, their dad did the same thing. He took them and molded them from their earliest days on to be tennis stars, and that's all they've known. You look at someone like Kobe Bryant. He was playing ball at the highest level since he was a little kid. You look at Michael Phelps, the same thing. They had that kid in the pool since he can probably barely walk. I mean,
and I already got a tennis racket in baby L's hand right now as we speak.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if you want your kids to be great, they have to start off at a very, very, very young age. The parents have to be extraordinarily involved, and it can't be one of those things. Oh, well, I want to play another sport. Okay, you could play something else maybe while you're in high school or something if it's not going to interfere with your main sport, but you have to always remember this is your main sport. And so I understand. So part of me feels bad because it's like when you're pushed to be that, all of that, and then you actually become that great. And then all of this wealth and fame and all the accolades come with it. I don't know too many people in their late teens, early 20s that can handle that, no matter how much support you have at home, how much of a high functioning, well-adjusted individual you are. That stuff messes with your head. I mean, it just does. Even people that have grown up around fame and wealth. I mean, look at someone like Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus grew up in a famous family. Her dad was rich and famous and was there. He's an active parent and is there to help guide her through this. And she still, she became a famous kid and she still deals with all of the craziness that comes along with fame. I just think it's one of those things that most people are not. They're not able to handle that level of fame. I think if you or I became famous today, we would handle it just fine because we are fully formed human beings. We have known what it's like to live life without fame, and we could live our lives with it and not be all messed up. I think we'd have to make some adjustments, like when we can't go to the grocery store,
I mean, but all you got to do is order it from Amazon. Right. That's all you got to do. Larry, I think a parent that has done a good job of helping his talented young kids adjust, even though we give this man flack because he embellishes until it falls off the earth, LeVar Ball and his children. He's done so far to this point, he's done a great job of, keeping those kids shielded from some of the troublings, the inklings that come with superstardom and fame. Now, those kids are not to the level Tiger Woods was And
Yeah, see, I was gonna say
Tiger Woods was an individual sport at that.
Yeah, see the ball kids, they're big to a certain, like they're big within our community somewhat. I don't feel like they're like global names.
No, they
I don't
are,
feel like they're
because they went and played basketball. Well, two of them did. The last one that just got drafted to the NBA, he left high school to go play in the Euro League. They know him in China, they know him in Europe, and they know about his brother being in the NBA. But they still don't rise to the level Tiger Woods was, with him winning the junior nationals. He was the youngest and first African American kid to win the junior nationals. Then he went on to be the first to win the Masters at the youngest age.
Right.
You want to talk about? I mean, my God,
I'll tell you somebody who I think did an excellent job raising their celebrity kids, and they seem to be pretty well adjusted. Now, some people might disagree with me, but I haven't heard about any of them being crazy alcoholics or drunks or in trouble or getting, and that's the Kardashians. They have that mom, she took a pretty I mean, considering the situation that Kim was in when this came out, when that sex tape got released, it wasn't her fault, apparently.
You saying post sex tape is what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, but could you imagine? So her, I mean, as far as I understand, it was Ray J had the tape. It got released or stolen or something, and they turned something terrible into something huge. But think about all of the other stuff that's come out of it. You have Kylie and whatever the other ones. That's like a legitimate billionaire. You have the other sisters that have they do the show and they're doing their thing. But you know what? I've not heard about any of them becoming drug addicts or alcoholics or getting in fights or crashing cars. All I've heard about them doing is getting rich and annoying people.
The two youngest ones,
people.
The two youngest
we can all be annoyed by them. We can be annoyed by them, but let's be honest with it. The mom has raised those kids in such a way that they have their families. They seem very close as a family unit. They make plenty of money and they don't get in any trouble. What else could you ask for, honestly?
They used to get in trouble because Kim Kardashian got in trouble with Paris Hilton and what's Lionel Richie's daughter's name when they went on that island and got drunk and she was underage. You forgot about that?
That was all before the show. That was all before they became big.
So, but we're talking about the totality of these people. We're talking about if you're comparing them to Tiger, you're talking about from the time Tiger was young all the way till he was into his adult. Now, I'm talking
about them growing up and the parents helping them handle fame and teaching them how to handle fame and be responsible. We've all done stuff I've done stuff as a kid that I'm ashamed of and don't talk about. I'm sure at some point we've all done stuff as kids that we're ashamed of and don't talk about. But if your parents guide you properly, or if you learn the lessons, you have somebody else, maybe it's not your parents, you learn from those lessons so that you become a well-adjusted adult that doesn't make those sort of silly mistakes and dumb mistakes and get into trouble. That's what you want, I would imagine, as a parent. And I don't see any of the Kardashians making those types of dumb mistakes. They may live a life and in a way that annoys people. I know Moochie said one of them crashed a Range Rover. I mean, okay. I mean, I've had a car accident in my life. I mean, stuff happens, but it's a big difference between crashing a Range Rover and driving under the influence, or sleeping around with 100 different women while you're married, or telling every hooker that you're with that you love them. I mean, there's all kinds. It just doesn't seem like, so like Trust is saying, said Rob got Black China pregnant. Okay, so he had a kid. I don't see how that's a problem. A lot of people have children. I mean, Kim Kardashian had a kid, and
to that extent, Larry, people are going to say to you, what's wrong with these men sleeping around if they're not married?
Because, I mean, if they're not married, I have no problem with them sleeping around if they're not married. But when Tiger was married, Tiger was running around married, sleeping with every woman he can find his way into their bed. It was ridiculous. He was pulling up.
But you got to be specific. You got to be specific. He wasn't sleeping around with everyone. If you ain't show up with blonde hair and blue eyes, he wasn't touching you.
Okay. I guess all I'm saying is that it doesn't seem as if the Kardashians have made any kind of real mistakes other than what normal kids or normal people would make. Yes, and some of them don't even look at it as mistakes. I mean, you look at what's her name? I mean, Rob got his girlfriend pregnant. A lot of people do that. You know, what's her name? Kylie or one of the Jenner kids. She got pregnant, had a baby. Okay, she's also a billionaire, you know, and she got pregnant by a multimillionaire. I know a lot of parents would be like, oh, your boyfriend's a millionaire, you better go get knocked up by him. I know a lot of parents that would be that way. You know, she was just like, yeah, I got pregnant by him. So what? Big deal. She wanted a kid. She had a kid.
At the end of the day, would you recommend people watch this documentary?
At the end of the day, I think that it's interesting. The documentary is entertaining. It is interesting. There is some, I mean, there are points of it where the filmmakers did a good job of making him a sympathetic character. Mm-hmm. I think there's also a lot about Tiger Woods that people don't like, shouldn't be emulated. You know, I think that, I mean, it's like any athlete. It's any elite level athlete for the most part. If you dig into their life, you're probably going to see things you don't like, because that's true about everybody, you know? So I'm not sure if he's any better or worse. It just so happened that he's in a predominantly white sport as a black man who is very confused about his race. And so it just added the complication where he didn't necessarily have the support that he might have gotten from the black community if they would have asked him, what do you consider yourself? And he looked at them like they were crazy. What do you mean, what do I consider myself? I'm a black man. What are you talking about? If he would have said that, the black community would have still loved him. And when he would have ran his car off the road, people probably would have been marching with BLM stickers on there talking about hashtag Tiger Woods. You know, they would have probably blamed the doctors for overprescribing him. But because he denied us, people were like, F that dude. Look, call the Asian community, since he wants to claim not to be black, he wants to claim to be Asian. See if they're going to take you now. You know?
So,
I mean, that's how people feel.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll pin it there. Take a look at it. It's interesting. Now we're going to go from Tiger's troubled childhood to a child that me and Larry for sure think has problems, but people would argue with me and Larry that this child doesn't have problems. And I'm talking about that damn Kyle Rittenhouse who went and murdered those people in the Kenosha riot. I mean, the Kenosha protest. Take a look at this bull job. We just talked about this Wednesday, me and Larry, about not letting those Capitol rioters leave the country. They let this kid out on bail, and take a look at what his ass done did.
News prosecutors are seeking an arrest warrant for the Illinois teenager accused of killing 2 people during protests in Kenosha. The state says Kyle Rittenhouse violated his bond after failing to inform the court he is moved. Prosecutors say they recently found out Rittenhouse has not lived at the address he listed with the court since at least mid-December. They're also asking the court to increase his bond by $200,000. Rittenhouse is currently free on $2 million bond. 12 News has contacted Rittenhouse's lawyer about his client's whereabouts.
I guess this story is never going to change, Larry. First of all, you remember who bailed him out, Larry?
I know they had a GoFundMe thing to raise the money to get him out.
The MyPillow guy added most of the funds to help bail him out too. Crazy ass MyPillow guy. Now, the hypocrisy that I don't understand with this story is the people that swear up and down they love law and order are saying that this guy needs to be liberated. He shot 2 people in cold blood.
He murdered 2 people, 2 white men.
Murdered them, shot them. They're dead. And the police basically walked him to McDonald's, let him get a cup of coffee, let his ass drive back to Illinois because he wasn't from Minnesota in the first place. He finally
had a gun. It was illegal for him to possess a gun in Minnesota.
Right. And he finally goes to jail. He's booked and all that. Okay, fine. Okay. Now, you mean to tell me he gets out on bail, he lies to the judge about his address, and he's been gone since November. Larry, if this was a black guy, there's things that I just can't get out my craw. When Michael Vick was accused of his crime, do you know there are still people calling for him to be hung to this day, even though he served his time?
Yeah.
This damn boy needs to be under lock and key, and it should be thrown away at this point. It should be thrown away. You giving him his due process. His ass lied to the courts. If that was us, Larry, we probably wouldn't even have got the bail in the first place. I give it to you. I give it to you now, because these situations where we're clearly trying to tell folks, look, don't tell us these whataboutisms. Don't tell us law and order. Just go ahead and tell us you're a racist. Period. Look at this T-shirt. This right here, and I didn't even know, but did you know that sign is okay for white power? I didn't know that shit.
But Larry, I knew it was white power.
I didn't know it. But Larry, he's all yours. And another thing, look at how have you ever seen most people's mug shots? They are the most horrible pictures you're going to ever see. When people look back at the mug shots they take nowadays, they're going to wonder, did they time transport us from the 1800s when people ain't smile? But for this kid, they try to give you the most cuddly, cute smile you've ever seen. But did you see that mug shot of Tiger Woods? Brother looked like he went to Jupiter and had gravity. It's all yours, Larry.
Yeah, I think that they ought to revoke his bail. I mean, just plain and simple, they should just simply revoke his bail and lock him up and leave him locked up until he's done. I mean, if they convict him, then he's locked up until his sentence is done. But I mean, the reality of it is that I try not to get too mad about it, because the reality of it is that it doesn't matter. It's one thing if you're white, but it's not even just a matter of white anymore. It's a matter of are you white and on the right? Because we've seen with this guy, he's on the right. He's a right-wing racist dude, and he killed 2 white men. And they're still built because these white men were out there defending the constitutional rights of black people. They don't look at those white men as being worthy of having their constitutional rights defended in death, meaning that they prosecute and convict this killer. Instead, they let him go. I mean, the kid is 17, 18 years old. He's out there drinking beer. I mean, the legal drinking age in this country is 21. Mm-hmm. And so he shouldn't be drinking anywhere. And he's out on bail, and he's in a bar. They should have this guy. They should just tell him, look, you're going back to jail. And if they do somehow let him back out, they should tell him you cannot be in any place that serves alcohol, period. Nowhere. That's it. And they should, they make sure they know where he is. If they in fact, I think really what they should do is just put him on a house arrest and put an ankle bracelet on him.
Yeah. Slap it on.
And that's that. Otherwise, they should lock him up and leave him locked up until after he serves his sentence. But the reality of it is, we looked and we saw what happened at the Capitol. They bum rushed the Capitol, and they're walking old ladies down, and they're beating and killing the cops.
My God! What?
And they're not doing anything about it. I mean, really, I don't think anybody's actually been charged with the murder of that police officer. And I don't expect anything. I don't expect anything different. I do not expect anything different. And to be perfectly honest with you, not that I want to see more people get hurt or more people get killed, but if more white people get hurt and more white people get killed, people like him and people that are on the far right like him that gave him that gun, and the people on the far right like those cops who let him walk on by and go home, eventually those people will be held to account. When you start killing enough white people, they will say, wait a minute, hold up. You're not killing black folks anymore. You're not killing Hispanic folks anymore. You're killing our folks, and now something has to be done about it. Changes have to be made. Systematic, institutionalized changes have to be made. And sometimes that's what we need to happen. So maybe they need to go out there and kill some more white folks before the changes will get made. It's terrible, but that's how this country works. Until white people suffer, we all have to suffer. You know?
I mean, we'll pin it there, but he has a point. We've seen it over and over again from the drug issues dealing with white people. You know, when crack was an issue in the hood, it wasn't a problem. But now that opioids is killing white people, oh my God, we better save them. We better do something. Hell, we might as well make it legal and stuff. So, I mean,
right. Let's not forget when crack was out there, Lamont. When crack was out there, it was a criminal justice issue.
Right.
When the opioid thing came and all these white kids got addicted to stuff, now it's a health and human services issue. It's a medical thing.
Yeah, it's mental health now. Yeah.
And so you know what? Okay, cool. Let it be that. Let it be that. And allow people who have drug addictions to go get help. Set up the system so people with drug addictions get help. It's unfortunate that all these white kids had to go become addicts and they had to go and sue these billion-dollar corporations for their opioid stuff. You know, fine. It's terrible that happened. But I guess if that's what we need, if we need white people to suffer so that the rest of the country can have some equality, then I guess they're going to have to go ahead and suffer. You know?
Ladies and gentlemen, he said the key word, equality. We're not trying to take anything from Anglo-Saxons, but here's the problem, and I will continue to say this. As we fight and get closer to everything being even, that does take away their white privilege, and some of them are fighting tooth and nail, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, to make sure that doesn't happen. But Larry, I'm going to move us along because I got a little bit more uplifting stories. We'll fight those bigots later on. I got a little bit more uplifting story. So, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend is the Super Bowl, and I want to shout out all my folks that done hit me in the super chat. Family Dad, Buzz, Mike, Willie, love you, Tressa C. Y'all, my people, thank you for sticking with me. But I want you guys
I just want to say, if the people are looking to watch the Super Bowl and they don't know how to watch it, check my channel. I did a video on 3 ways you can watch the Super Bowl free.
Yep,
legal.
He did.
All legal.
Good video. But also, ladies and gentlemen, Rocket Mortgage is giving away 50 G's every time the scoreboard changes. And all you got to do is give them your email. Take a look at this because I want someone to come up here Monday and say they won the money. You get either 50 G's and 2 people at the end are going to get $500,000 to buy a house. I know Larry would love that. Hell, I would too. But take a look at this.
Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Squares sweepstakes is back. And guess who else is? Me. Barry Sanders. It's free to play, and every score change, someone wins $50,000. And 2 lucky players will win $500,000 they could use toward a dream home.
One way to enter, hey, 2 ways to win.
Go to RocketMortgageSquares.com to enter for free. Rocket Mortgage, official mortgage sponsor of Super Bowl 55.
And if you want to get some extra squares, use the link that's in my video description. You'll get extra squares by using the link in the video description. Go check it out. Rocket Mortgage Squares doesn't cost you anything. And I want somebody to come back up here and report that they won some of that money on Monday. And by the way, I will be streaming live on Super Bowl night from a remote location in Tampa Bay. So you guys will just have to stay tuned to see where me and my best man at my wedding, James Bookman, are going to be hiding out. Make sure the wife ain't in here. We might have a couple of the cheerleaders for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on interview. So you stand by, you know, you might see some of that action. Larry, Will Smith did a little partnership. I've lived with a doctor. You know what I'm saying? She could put something in my veins where I'm numb and can still feel pain, and she could do whatever she wanted to do to me. So I ain't doing nothing. Believe me. Will Smith, ladies and gentlemen, has come out with a Netflix special about inequality and the amendments of the Constitution and how they affect African Americans. Take a look at this trailer and we'll break it down and let you know if Will Smith getting his groove back.
What does it mean?
Okay. What you think, Larry? How you feeling? Looks decent.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. I'm interested. I'm gonna watch it.
I'll definitely be watching to see how they do a deep dive. You know, one of my favorite subjects was history, right behind science. And so I'm always interested in not just the history of how the world started, but when you get to the nooks and crannies of how this country started and how individuals can just take a person and look at them who looks just like you in the terms of you got arms, you got a head, you got eyes, you got feet, but say you're less than a man, then eventually give you a little bit of rights, but while giving you rights and freeing you from slavery to appease white master, we pay them and don't give the slaves nothing because we had to make a deal with the white masters in order to give the slaves what they thought was the ultimate thing of pricelessness, which is freedom. So I'm interested to see how much deep diving they do into this history. So it's definitely a day one for me. Larry, what you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it on day one. Check it out. See what it's about. It looks interesting. So apparently it's gonna be star studded, which could be good or bad. It doesn't really matter to me so much as long as the content's good. But I know that they need that to get people's eyes on it. So
yeah, but I mean, they like you said, a lot of stars and showing courage too, because when people let you know that they are down for equality, they're down for equal rights, they don't care who you sleep with, it can be a risk depending upon where you're at in your career as an entertainer or someone who has a social media following. And you can get trolls, you can get people threatening your life, you can get people saying, I'm not going to follow you anymore, I'm not going to spend any money on you anymore. So I commend people for putting their face to say, you know what, I don't give a damn what you think. I'm fighting so that everybody can have equal rights to pursue the happiness that they want to pursue, regardless of what you think. Because if you think that that's not something that is in the Constitution and that's not something that God wants people to have, then your ass is the problem. And I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's hopefully it's good. I mean, I just okay. Hopefully it's good.
Cool.
You know, I hope there's something uplifting in there as well, because I'll tell you, every time they make something about black folks, sometimes it gets to be taxing on you watching it because they show so much stuff that's so heavy. It's like they're always. I mean, I know that we've all struggled a lot, and it's important to recognize the struggle and see it. But sometimes it could be a little taxing to continue to watch the struggle, and you just want something that's a little bit more uplifting. So,
I'll tell you what, Larry, I can handle it a whole lot better now that Joe Biden is in office and not Donald Trump. You know, I'm more hopeful, more hopeful now than what I was watching this type of material the last 4 years. So now we're going to get on with something that's even more uplifting and jovial, Larry. The Coming to America second trailer. And guess who we get to see in this trailer, Larry? Guess who they pulled out of this trailer? Mr. McDowell is back. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The second part of the Coming to America. Okay. Hey, I didn't know that they performed circumcisions in Africa amongst the tribes, but hey, he got that slump chopped up. Damn, boy, Larry, I gotta say, man, I was worried. Nothing will ever take the place of the first Coming to America. But I gotta say, I think they've done a good job of remixing Dawson by having the old characters somehow way involved, and then you sprinkle in these new folks. It looks good to me. It's a day one show for me. I love seeing all that much black talent on the same screen. What you think, my brother? You got on their shirt. Is that a Wakanda shirt or a Zamunda shirt? Because the back of the shirt say Kill Monday.
Zamunda and Wakanda are both in there. It's the whole continent, baby.
Oh,
you know?
God. And here's the Killmonger of Zamunda.
I'll tell you, Eddie and Wesley, they were always good friends or they became good friends, because this is like their second movie where they're getting it in and having fun.
Right.
So
exactly. So I'm excited for it, man. I'm glad. I'm happy to see all of them back together. How do you think this is going to compare to the first one, Larry?
To be honest with you, I'm trying not to compare it to the first one because the first one was such a classic in so many ways. I mean, during that time, we didn't see a lot of movies with a lot of representation of us. And so to see a movie like that with black royalty, black African royalty coming over here, it was something that I don't think that you can really make a comparison to because of the time. Maybe a kid who's never seen it can watch it and then compare it with today's one. But for us, I don't think you can compare anything to that, because it was so unique for the time. But one thing I'm glad that they're doing, I'm glad that they're not just filming in New York and then just rehashing all the old stuff, which is sort of, retooled jokes. I'm glad they pulled all the characters back together, but they're actually taking it back to Africa. I'm glad they're doing that, and it's going to be a different setting. So
right, looks good to me, man. And there's our boy McDowell.
Yeah,
I can't wait to figure out what is he doing with that stick.
That is hilarious.
He looks like he's finally retired. He's still got a nose like Scotty the Bull from the Chicago Bulls. So I wouldn't be running up on him any kind of ways, Larry. And then you got the wife has returned back.
Yep.
Now, how did they decide who would play the mother of this kid for Eddie Murphy? Who came up with that idea?
I don't know, but
man,
I'm glad it was her because she's funny. She is funny.
Yeah, she's funny until you put her ass in Ghostbusters and ruin the movie for me. Yes, I'm still mad about that.
She didn't ruin Ghostbusters for me. Ghostbusters was a bad movie. It wasn't that because you had her. I mean, think about the talent that was in there. You had her. You had Melissa McCartney. You had
Darcy. You had Darcy from Marvel.
I mean, they had all of the comedic chops in there. It was just
Larry,
a bad movie.
Then you had Thor. Chris Hemsworth was in the movie.
And it was just a bad movie. It had nothing. I truly believe it was a bad script. And it was, I don't want to slam the director, but the director's the quarterback of the team. You have to take the good. You get to take all the accolades and you get to take the fault. So I'm putting it on him. Because
I'm putting it on all of them. When you read the damn script, you should have said to yourself, this ain't going to be no good. So I put it on all of them.
They probably read the script and saw that there was a nice payday attached to it and said, I'll do it.
Hey, you know what? You need to save them kind of roles for people like me and T Strings who's trying to get into acting. Let us do them roles so that you can trash us and it ain't no sweat off your back. But anyway.
Well, they're supposed to do another Ghostbusters, and I think there's going to be a combo of the women and the men. So
right. Paul Rudd is going to be in it. They went and got I think Michael Bay is helping out on this one, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think what's his name is coming back. Dan Aykroyd is coming back.
Right. All the original Ghostbusters are still alive, except for the guy that played Spangler, Egon Spangler. All the rest of them are still alive. But ladies and gentlemen, Coming to America, Part 2, March 5th, Prime Video. We are day one for us, and we are finally to the stock portion of the video. Larry,
before we go on to the, can I ask you, have you seen, before you go to the stocks, because I don't want to interrupt you once we get there, but since we're talking about movies, have you seen the Little Things with Denzel and what's his name, Rami?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, well I'll wait and see if you watch it, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get to that next week, man. We doing a constant WandaVision Marvel Monday, and have you watched WandaVision yet?
I was actually halfway through it, or maybe about 16 minutes through it before I had to shut it off to hop on the show.
Yeah, and when I tell you they having geek orgasms all over the place, I done seen posts, man. They are just going nuts,
going crazy.
Yeah, man. So I can't wait. Stay tuned for us on Monday, ladies and gentlemen. When we go through.
Have you watched it?
No, I haven't watched. I'm watching as soon as we get off. As long as Elle is asleep, I'm going to watch it. So our last segment, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we have to talk about the stock portfolio. and what we are doing in our stocks. And someone hit me up and was like, Lamont, can you show us how to buy a call on Robinhood? And so I will do that. Larry, can you see my Robinhood account?
I can. Yeah, it looks good. I might need a piece of that.
Yeah, we all need a piece. Hell, I need a piece of someone who has an account this big times 6 or 8 so I can do my app idea. So yeah, I want a piece of it too. But ladies and gentlemen, if let's just say I've been telling people to jump on the DraftKings stock, and I still think that it's not too late for DraftKings, but here's another good idea that I bought a long time ago. Viacom CBS. Take a look at this one. CBS is the one hosting the Super Bowl. So the way I put together these strategic ideas was I said, what's going to be happening in the upcoming month? Super Bowl is coming, hosted by CBS, major sponsors, DraftKings, put some calls on them. So that's what I did with Viacom CBS. And as you can see, it's not even Super Bowl day. I'm up $668. I bought this call January the 23rd or something like that. But if you wanted to come in here and buy a call, ladies and gentlemen, you first need to go check your Robinhood account and make sure you go into, let's see here, settings, because you have to make sure you have options turned on. And you would just come over here to this little tab that says options trading. And you see I'm at a level 3. You at least need to be level 2. And down here is where you can remove trading options. You have to make sure this is on. So some of you all, when you go to pick a stock, and let me get back up here into this screen. Let's just say you want to pick this thing right here that I'm telling you guys will be a good buy. Albemarle. It's an energy company out of North Carolina, and they've had a major pullback last week. And they're having earnings next week. And from what I've been reading, the earnings is supposed to be good. So if you want to, do a call to control 100 shares of stock because you can't afford 100 stocks, you just come over here to this tab that says trade. You click on that and you will click buy a call. And then you'll pick your expiration date. As I've told Larry and everybody else, I never like doing quick expiration dates unless it's something time specific. So you people that I'm saying go buy a call on Viacom CBS, only do 2 weeks on that one. And for you people that I'm saying buy a call on DraftKings, only do 2 weeks on that one because I think they're both going to peak for a little while within the next 2 weeks. But Albemarle, you might want to stretch this one out a little bit to give it some time to have a dip and come back up. So you definitely wouldn't pick February 19th. You come on down here to March 19th. That's when your call would expire. Now, unfortunately, these calls are expensive. And so the share price is $159 per share. And when you're buying a call, you always want the price to be one of these two squares. What determines whether you pick one of these two squares? How quickly you want to get out the call. So if I'm doing something on 2 weeks, I go right below it. Now, of course, that's going to cost you more. That's going to be 100. That's going to be $1,020 versus this one up here being $900. But you would also look at your break even. Your break even, if you took the $900 call, would be $169. Ladies and gentlemen, do I think this stock would be more than $169 by March? Hell yeah. It's going to be more than $169 by March unless we have some chaos in the economy. And with them 2 steps away from passing COVID relief and sending out $1,400 checks, the economy is only going to get stronger. So you would come over here, you click this button.
Go ahead.
You click this button. You'd also want to take a look at the Greeks. The most important thing you always look at when you take a look at the Greeks, ladies and gentlemen, is this implied volatility. If this is higher than 75, do not, and I repeat, do not mess with it. That's just trending a little too high for stops for my blood. And basically your implied volatility just simply means that there's a whole lot of increased activity on the stock, either buying, selling, or both. And the number is dependent upon the individual stock. So this number can be as low as 0, which is perfect, or as high as up to 2,000, which you stay away from. That's what GameStop was 2 weeks ago. It was like 1,000 and something. You definitely don't want to touch that. Keep this about 75 or lower. You would click this, you would click continue. And then you would come up here and you would click, you want to buy a long call, 1 share. Then you review your order. Make sure this say good for the day, meaning that it's good until the day it expires, which would be March 19th. And this would eventually say, because I'm doing this in after hours, it eventually say, okay, you're ready to submit. And ladies and gentlemen, you simply submit it and you put it in your personal records and you come back and watch it and see how it grows. And I always tell people, do not be afraid to take your profits. If this thing is making you $200, $300, $400 within the first week, do not, and I repeat, do not just sit on it. If that's enough income, y'all can go back to it. If that is enough income for you, $200, $300, $400, $500, get out, take your profits. You do not have to just continue to wait, hoping it's going to go higher. Nobody goes broke taking profits. What you got, Larry?
Can you hit sell a call and see what it is?
Yeah, same thing.
So if you were going to sell a call, now let me ask you, because that call is so expensive, would it not make more sense to just buy the stock? And if you have the money to buy the stock and then sell calls on it for the next month or two?
That you could certainly do. Well, here's the thing about this one. The issue with this one is it only trades, it only allows you to do options once a month. So under normal circumstances, your idea would work. But the other part of what you're saying is you at least want this to be something you believe in. For me, this is something I believe in. So I wouldn't mind doing your strategy. But at the same time, $1,000, Larry, is a whole lot different from $16,000 of buying.
No, I feel you on that.
From buying 100 shares of the stock. And so to control 100 shares of the stock, you're only going to come out your pocket for $1,000 to make 70% of however this 100 shares goes up. So that's why most people do this route, Larry, versus just buying the stock straight up.
Right.
Yep.
I guess I was thinking because if you sold a call, you would get the $9.99 premium. Plus, if it went to $169, you sell it at $169.
Yeah.
So you make the difference and the premium.
But the problem with that is you got to have 16 G's.
Well, yes, that's what I meant. If you have the money to do that, yes. Obviously.
Yeah, if you got the money to do it and you actually believe in this stock, and you want to put that as part of your strategy, absolutely go for it. But most people want to believe in the stock. They can't control 100 shares. That's why they buy a call. Simple as that. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're taking a look at my portfolio, my major plays, since we're not going to be doing the stock Monday quarterback program this week because we'll be at the Super Bowl, I would tell you guys to come on in here, get you some of this DraftKings. I bought it 2 weeks ago because of the Super Bowl. And right now I'm up $898. And hell, that's enough for me. The minute it's 9:30 on the dot, I'm getting out. That's plenty for me. I'm getting out of this one. And I'm also getting out of that Viacom I bought, Viacom CBS, which that call doesn't expire till next month. But because the Super Bowl is this month, I'm going to go ahead and get my coins. And this one is up almost $700. That's a sweet $1,500 profit for me that's coming Monday. And I'll just wait around on Monday to see how high it goes because I'm sure the buzz is going to be around these stocks. I'll just wait around and get out before Monday. But I'm definitely getting out Monday. But these are some plays you guys can take over the weekend. And if you're going to do something long-term, check out Albemarle. I like where they're headed this week in their earnings call. And I can easily see them going up at the very least 10%. So that's all I got for you people this week on the stock program. Larry, any questions, any concerns? What you going to be doing next week in the stock market?
I'm not sure. I was looking at a couple of companies I was thinking about maybe, I've still been thinking about doing I've been doing some of my selling puts. I haven't really been doing the calls. I'll tell you, the calls scare me, man, because it's like, I know there's a lot of upside, but there's like unlimited risk. It's like, if it doesn't go your way, you lose everything. Whereas with
buying a call.
Yeah.
Well, then buy something cheap. Like for example, I bought Ford in the last day of December because I like their CEO and I like all the stuff they're trying to do with EV. So I bought a Ford call, Larry, that lasts till next December. I bought a call that lasts till next January. And when you come in here, you look at what it costs to buy a Ford call. So you want to buy a call, it's only 33 cents. It's only 33 cents to hold it till February. So let's just say you want to give it some time to marinate. Okay. Let's say you want to hold it to September. It's only going to cost you $185 to control 100 shares of Ford, and your break even is $13.85 from now till September. I mean, you can do it on stocks like this, Larry. You don't have to do the top tier stocks, but at the same time, you don't want to do nothing that's lower tier either. But Ford, I'm telling everybody, get you an extended call on Ford. I mean, instead of just take this thing till January 2022. It's only going to cost you $230 to hold this stock, and your break-even point is $14. Ford might be $22 by the end of this year, Larry. It might be $22. And you see my call down, you see that +1 beside 7?
Right.
That's the call I bought. I bought a $7 call. And it's already at $11.
Yeah. What'd you pay for it?
Let me see. Let me pull it up. Let me go back in here and pull it up. I bought it for a year, and I think I paid, it wasn't a lot, like maybe $300, $200. Here's my Ford call. $247 is what it costs to control the share. And look, I'm up 250 already. That's a 100% return on my money. So, Larry, you can't go wrong with buying a Ford call that's you keep way out till next year. $200 ain't going to hurt you when I've gotten my money back from Ford, Larry, in less than a month. It's been less than a month. So I think that's one you could do. And there are some other ones, Larry, that are in that $10 to $30 space that you can certainly make some good money on. So don't underestimate the power of doing a call. But the key to doing a call, you need to make that call as long as you possibly can afford, because you want to give the marketplace time to go up, go down, and give you the opportunity to be like, you know what? $300-400 is enough money for me. I'm getting out. And like I said, nobody goes broke taking their profits off the table. Monday, before the end of the day, I am out of Viacom and I am out of DraftKings with my $1,500 to $1,600. Out. OUT out. Get me up out of there. But that's all I got for you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Oh, okay. Let me answer this question. Castle Dragon 78, does Ford operate Lucid Motors? No. Lucid Motors is supposed to be going through a SPAC called Churchill Capital. And
they've been blowing up. I bought some of them at $18. They're at 30-something now.
Yeah, let's take a look at Churchill Capital. Larry jumped all over them.
It's a CCIV. Yeah.
And we talked about them up here, ladies and gentlemen. It's just that I'm not a real big fan of SPACs and blank check companies unless I know who they're getting in bed with. And it's not 100% sure, but the guy that runs, the CEO of Lucid Motors, was on CNBC today. And when they asked him, will you be going in business with Churchill Capital so you can get on the market? He was giggling like a little girl saying, well, sound like Mitch McConnell. You know I can't talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, his ass lying. He know he's merging with them. He's merging with them probably in May before they launch the car. And the cars are beautiful. I mean, those are some beautiful luxury sedans. Their biggest one, it sells for $160, gets 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. Yeah, 160,000. Yeah. And it gets 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, which is not fast enough. My car does that. My Tesla does that, and I've got the base model. But it's bigger, it's more roomy, it's got great technology. And the guy was basically saying that the thing that's going to separate them from Tesla is their battery technology, because that high dollar car is supposed to get close to 600 miles on one charge.
Wow.
So
see what their calls are.
Oh, yeah, let me take a look at Churchill Capital's calls, ladies and gentlemen, while we got your attention, while we got you here. If you're trying to get involved with Lucid Motors, Churchill's Capital is who you want to jump on. They're pretty expensive. But, I mean, that's not too bad, honestly. I just would not be doing an expiration date of February 9th. See, they're another one of these companies where instead of having options weekly, they're only doing monthly. So let's take a look at March 19th, because you don't want to just have it. You don't want to have a short window with this stock. So if you want in on them and you want to control, you got to come up with $1,000. Basically, you're multiplying this number right here by 100. That's what you're doing. That's how you do a call.
Sell a put.
Let's see, sell a put till March. Oh, I mean, they're paying you $1,000 to sell a put. So this is actually a better idea to do for someone who wants to get involved. I would encourage you to sell a put on this stock till March. Start right here at number 25. Start at 25. The stock is selling at 34. Sell a put right here at $25. They're going to pay you $495 up front. Oh, hell no. Nope. Larry, why am I saying no?
I see the volatility rate, but here's the thing.
Nope.
That stock has to drop by $9 to get there. And if it does, you still own it at $25.
Yes, but when that volatility is
and your break even's at 20, which really means they have to drop by $14 before you're in the red.
That's true. But here's the problem. Let's say they do drop by 14 based on this high volatility. How long are you willing to sit there on that stock? Are you willing to sit there with it for a long time? Do you want your cash back?
Well, I want my cash. So let's check February. We'll see what the February 19th is, because that's only like 2 weeks away.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks away.
So they're going to pay you, if you choose a $30 strike price, they're going to pay you almost $400.
Yeah.
Actually, it makes more sense to go with a $35 strike price, because your break-even point's not that much difference, and you're going to make almost twice as much in the premium.
Yep, I 100% agree with that. 100% agree. Ooh, that volatility is even higher than the last one. Now, me personally, I wouldn't touch this. Not me. I'm not. See, I leave it to the risk takers like Larry. If I'm gonna take a risk, it ain't gonna be on that one. So, Larry, my brother, it's all yours, my man. It's all yours. And ladies and gentlemen, let me show you one more thing before we get out of here. So, I had calls. And when you want to get your money out of a call, let me show you what you do. Because I got out of 2 calls today that were scheduled to end later on in the year. So let me just go down here to I got a Disney call that expires the end of the month. All right. And I'm up on Disney right now, $500. If I want to get out of this on Monday, you simply go here to where it says sell to close. You click 1. Then you review your order, and then when it populates, it's saying that I have to set it at 12:10 because that was the last thing it registered at the market, and there's no getting around it. So you will update it, and then you review, and you will hit submit, and then they would give you this $1,211 that you subtract from this, which gives you your total return, which will be $468. And ladies and gentlemen, it might be a $2,000 Monday for me, because I might sell all 3 of them and get out of them. Nobody goes broke taking their profit. And Lamont Tyson is all about taking them profits. Get me up. And then I've got Microsoft call that ends the end of this month too. Let me see what they looking like, because I might get out of them too. So I bought the call on them. I'm up 345 on them. I'm gonna wait on them. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait a little. I'm gonna wait. It's not gonna hurt me to wait a little while longer. Now, if this 345 starts getting down close to 200, then I'm getting out. Getting out.
All right. Now, one other stock I want you to look up, because their earnings are coming up.
Okay.
Is Under Armour.
Oh God. I mean, you would want to look up one of the most racist CEOs in all America, Under Armour.
That's all I think about short though.
Let's see here. And your goal is to sell a put on them, or what you trying to do with them? All right,
Yeah.
let's see what they're working with. So they've had a good couple of weeks. You're gonna sell a put. So if you sell a put at this level, they're gonna pay you $114, but you're gonna have yeah, exactly. Not worth it. And oh hell no, no,
don't like it.
nah. That volatility for them is just way too high, and it's probably because they're getting ready to have their earnings. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to use this implied volatility and this delta as your barometers of safety. Now, if you don't mind selling a put and getting stuck with the stock and then sell calls on it, then do what you want to do. But if you're someone who you really would like to have your money back at the end of the week and not be stuck with the stock having to sell calls, then you have to concentrate on this implied volatility. Do not go higher than 75. And it just depends on the momentum of the stock and your knowledge of said company, whether or not you go higher than 75. So
see some of these things, I don't mind the implied volatility being very high on some of these stocks that I like the Churchill Capital. Right. I don't mind that. So I know the implied volatility was crazy high, but I mean the premium is very high, and the amount that they would have to drop. I mean, if it drops from 35 down to 25, I mean that sucks. But I would end up buying them at 25, and I get the $500 or $600 premium, whatever it was at that price.
Right.
So I mean, that part doesn't scare me away so much. If I was buying a call, yes, it'd be different because I'm just putting straight out cash, and if I lose, I lose. Whereas with the where I'm selling a put, if I lose, I still keep the stock.
Yeah. Okay. I feel you. All right. Let me answer some questions. Mike Willie, is it a good idea to get airline stocks? I'm still saying hold on that one. Just wait. If you want to get in on something that can give you a return now and also a robust return when everything opens back up, your best play is Disney. Disney's paying you now, and it's going to definitely pay when they open back up. Now, when we get closer to seeing like 50%, but I would even venture to say 45% of the nation immunized. Or
here's the thing, though, Lamont.
Hold on. Let me finish my point. Or when they get that app that verifies you having taken the shot, right before that point is when you want to get in on the airline. But short of that, I don't want your money to just be sitting there doing nothing for you until they start growing.
Now, what I was going to say, the problem is with that is that Disney, as a great stock as it is, I mean, I like Disney. Disney's the first stock that I've ever bought, but you're talking about $180 versus the airline stocks where you're talking about anywhere from like $17, $18, $40.